Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. If you've seen the previous episode that I did for the review of the many sides of Jane, then you know I still have on the same thing. I decided to just go ahead and do the second episode review because I started the series rather late, and I didn't want to prolong my reviews. So this is my review. Not, I hate to say review because I'm not reviewing someone's life because this is her actual life, but this is my take on episode 2, season 1, episode 2, and this episode was titled Motherhood. And I'm just gonna jump right into it. Again, if you watched the first episode, then you know it's a series based off a woman named Jane. She has DID, dissociative identity disorder, and she has 9 parts to her. She does have 2 children, 2 boys, and yeah, so let's get right into it. This episode was just like the first one, absolutely amazing. One thing I like about and these are only 2 episodes that I've seen, but one thing I like about the show is it is extremely informative. And I think that is so important with her actually having a disorder. I think it's so important to be informative because that is the whole reasoning. A lot of times I have negative emotions and feedback when I look at certain reality shows because I feel like, well, yeah, you're showcasing this person for, or these people for whatever reasons, when things like mental health and health issues come up, or real issues that we suffer with in today's society in general, whether it be cultural, socially, whatever, not enough information or light is shed on that issue. You just see at the end of the episode, either if you know someone who's suffering from domestic violence, or if you know someone who's suffering from teen pregnancy, or if you know someone is suffering from suicide, this is the number, have them give a call. But I like that this show is very informative because it also gives different clips where she's actually with her psychologist. So you see the interaction that she has with her psychologist. You see the back and forth. And there's one thing that I didn't mention in the last feedback that I gave for the first episode is it was a point in the show where they showed the actual clip of when her personalities at one point, her parts were going back and forth, like it was switching rapidly. Like you saw her being Jane at one point, then you saw her being Madison at one point, and just as quick as she was Madison, then she was back Jane. And you saw like the frustration on her face. You saw at one point she was crying, like you saw it all, and it was something that was very real and again very true to show. It's much different than saying, oh, people that have DID, this is how they are. But to see that emotion in her was, it was, it was, it was deep. It really gave you a view of what she goes through, maybe on a daily basis. Um, so this episode was centered all around motherhood, and in my opinion, it was a combination of her being a mother as well as the relationship that she had with her own mother. And again, like the first episode, it brought out the struggles that she goes through in relationships. The first episode was more so relationships intimately that she had with her boyfriend Ryan, but this one was an intimate relationship being with her mom. And one thing that I thought was amazing that she brought out is DID is, it comes from repeated trauma and past, and that's something that she had. And I like the fact that she was very firm in saying that she couldn't go there or have that relationship with her mom until her mom acknowledges the trauma that has been in her life. And I think that is so important, and it's so brave for her to stand up for herself and put that boundary there, like, hey, you can't just get to know me without getting to know the trauma. And a lot of people like to erase certain things or not think about what happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago. But unless you address what happens in the past, definitely with trauma, it affects your present. Um, and I thought it was really good that she showed that. It showed how her mom wants a relationship with her, wants a relationship with the kids. But she also brought in there how her parts, especially Madison, protects her. How it's not her part, that part is not necessarily receptive to her mom, because Madison is more of an upfront type person. And it just showed how her parts work, I guess you say, for the good of her. And how it builds upon her also being a mom. She talked a bit about how her kids doesn't necessarily see the change and how it works for her, especially since she has younger parts to her. So she's able to relate to her kids. She's able to be a mom in that sense. But one thing that I thought that it was really cool that they also brought out is the thing that she does to work toward working with her parts and being a mom, and how sometimes when she switches parts, she forgets what she tells her kids sometimes. So she does alarms, she does picture taking to remember what she did, because one part of her, she has total amnesia. When, and I want to say it's Madison, don't quote me on that, but I want to say it's Madison, um, or the 17-year. I'm sorry, I forget exactly what it is, but it's one part to her that she has total amnesia when that part comes. So what she does is the fact that she's aware of that, she take pictures and things like that. And I thought it was good because she's working with what she has. And it's one thing to realize that you have, um, be it a health issue or a mental health issue, and just ignore it. And it's a total different thing when you're working to make it better, when you're accepting and owning it and doing what you can to make yourself a better person. And that was just amazing to see. It was amazing to see her work with her kids, and still be a mom, still have boundaries, still play with her kids, still be a mom, which is what so many people think is impossible. Like, oh, you're unfit to be a mom because if mentally you're not together of what I think is together, then you're incapable of being a mom. Which is totally not true. I'm glad that this show is proving it to be not true, and maybe giving hope to other people that suffer with DID. I also thought it was very good how it just gave the connection of what she wants from her mom, but what she's not willing to accept at the same time. And I feel that it's so important, not only in people that have disorders, but everyone in general. You know, everyone should have a boundary, or should be able to express themselves and say, like, hey, we can't move forward in this relationship until you address your part, or until you address what has happened in the past. Then and only then we can move forward. And she made that very clear. Like, how can you want to get to know Jane, but ignore the trauma in the past? And that just spoke volumes to me on so many levels. So this episode was definitely good and amazing. Check it out if you have not already done so. Let me know your thoughts on my feedback and what I thought. Do you feel that she should work it she should ignore the fact that her mother is ignoring the fact of the past trauma, or do you think it's something that should be forgotten and gotten over, or do you feel like she's right in wanting to address the past before she can get to know her in the future? Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this feedback for the second episode, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.